Oh, hey guys, don't mind me. I'm just playing this cool game here. It's got a lot of cool visuals.
You're in the hoodlum turf, mate. Means you're all mine.
I'm fighting Bonesaw right now in this game. It even sounds like it. Look. Yeah, this game is pretty chill, pretty fun. Nothing too bad's happening right now. What the fuck? What the fuck is this? Who the fuck left the motherfucking snake in my motherfucking game? What the fuck? Oh shit, they got Gundam in this game. Oh, this is pretty cool. I like Gundam, I fuck with Gundam as fucking Gundam fucking sucks. Fucking piece of shit. I was always more of a Transformer guy. The gaming market in the 80s and 90s was dominated by some of the hardest games ever conceived, with 2D platformers, shoot-em-ups, and RPGs occupying a large percentage of the market. Even today, there are still a lot of games developed in the style of the original Super Mario Bros. Or Final Fantasies, with both AAA and indie companies iterating over the formula and adding their own twists into the design of these genres. But what I want to talk about today is a long-standing genre that stems from the platformer, which also has the vast amount of games created during the early days of video gaming. The run and gun genre, it was able to create its own niche audience with games like Contra, Ghosts and Goblins, and Ninja Gaiden to a certain extent. Gone were the days of mechanics of floaty air movement and accelerating run speeds of previous platformers in favor of a more grounded, heavy dude bros who'll always prefer a spread shot over a laser shot. The last major run and gun release, September 29, 2017, saw the release of Cuphead, which counts here for its unique and great boss fights and set pieces because, as we all know, those action platformer levels were okay at best. And the last major run and gun before Cuphead? Yeah, I think you understand just how niche the genre really is. Where these types of games always excel in, and almost have to on all accounts to even be considered good, are their presentation, the weapon roster feeling good to cycle between, and the boss fights, especially the boss fights. The game I want to talk about today fits the criteria for all three of these things, but it unfortunately found itself in an exclusive deal upon release that set it dead on arrival within the mainstream audience on things like Steam or the Xbox Store or PSN. Originally released on May 12, 2020 exclusively on the Epic Games Store, Huntdown is a callback to games like Contra in both its design and the unadulterated cheesy 80s presentation. Instead, now we're using current day technology with high fidelity 16-bit art, a rocking 80s inspired soundtrack, and some pretty damn good but under the radar voice acting across all the characters you'll meet and shoot. This one's a quickie too, so save the disappointment of not another 20-minute video as we take a look at this underappreciated game, and why I think y'all need to go back to blast through this game. This is Huntdown. In Huntdown, you play as one of 3 mercenaries for hire in a cyberpunk city where gangs fight for territory while the cops watch in horror as only you and a potential second player for co-op are able to stop these gangs from wreaking more havoc. Each of the 3 characters have different starting weapons that include a 3-round burst pistol, a slow firing but powerful magnum, and your classic Contra starting weapon, only you're gonna have to spam that fire button really fast to get the same effect. I only ever played as the Duke Nukem with the metal jaw character, who the voice actor for does a remarkable impression of within my playthroughs of the game, so I don't actually know the distinctions between each of the character's basic weapons, but what I can tell you that is different between them are their standard throw weapons you get for each. Not only do you have your basic firearm, but you also get a weapon you can throw at enemies, and this is where you can find the preference in the character you want to use. John Sawyer has a boomerang that can refresh instantly if you catch it on its way back, but it has limited range. Mo-Man uses 3 kunai that go across the screen with a forced cooldown, and Anaconda uses a tomahawk that archers above you for getting those pesky pricks with RPGs and those kamikaze jetpack flyers. Levels play out like your typical run and gun. Move left mostly, sometimes right, all the while jumping on platforms here and there while you're blasting gangbangers in the face. Right off the bat, I need to tell you, the most satisfying way to get a kill on someone is in the second area of this game where you're introduced to the sawed-off shotgun. Any enemy that's getting too close to you with it out will get blown to chunks of gore and blood. And it never gets tiring thanks to the excellent sound design across the wide range of guns. And my god, look at all that. Just look at this. Glorious. It's almost tantalizing, all this blood and red. This game also introduces a somewhat novel idea to the run and gun, and that's the usage, or attempted usage, of cover. If you press yourself against one of these boxes or barrels, your character will automatically crouch down under it so as to avoid incoming enemy fire. You'll pop out of cover to land some shots, so be careful as you'll start trading blows from stray bullets. You can also hide in open garage doors by holding up and it'll have the same effect. In this case, you'll get these Mad Max bikers with machine guns attached to the front knocking you out of there if you're not jumping out of the way. Or these annoying dogs that you'll try to crouch down to shoot, only to have them jump over your bullets with immaculate timing to take a chunk off your health. You have a standard of 3 bars of health on hard, where after you get hit 3 times, you'll die and you'll return to your most recent checkpoint. These help with breaking up the short but distinct sections of action in each of the levels, and they also fully heal you when you pass them. After the quick 3 to 5 minute sprint across a level, you'll be met with a boss that's one of your main bounties assigned to you throughout each area. 4 areas with 5 levels in each brings the total boss count to 20 in this 4 to 5 hour playthrough, but you can also do the side objectives within each level to bring your play count up by a bit. A drawback this game has is that all of these side objectives tend to revolve around the same things across each of the levels. Kill this many enemies, collect these 3 hidden stashes, which they're pretty well hidden, and complete the level without dying once. That last one gets to be extremely difficult in the latter half of the game, but still a sore spot where I think the game will try to diversify the side objectives. Okay, enough about the parts I don't like, because just about everything in this game is worthy of praise or mentioning for those of you looking for an old school gaming experience. I'm just gonna go through my checklist of things this game does right and leave you with the last point to drive home my feelings, starting with the way the characters feel. Your characters are very much grounded and have a very comfortable run speed. You can also use the dash button on the ground to gain some extra ground to cover, as well as avoiding close range strikes from enemies. Utilizing the dash in the air gives the character a dive kick type move that doesn't stop until they've hit the ground again. Every starting weapon is good enough to go through a whole level without picking up additional weapons, but if you're looking to blow up the obese samurai cyborg that's killed you 5 times in a row already, then you might want to pick up a gun like the Thumper or the RPG to dish out tons of damage in clean fashion. And what's great about the selection is that it feels like it evolves as you progress further into the game, where you might start out with a pump action shotgun or a sawed-off within the first 2 areas. You'll soon find yourself wielding an automatic shotgun against all the bosses within the last area. And the best part is, they all feel so great to use. And just to add a note here, since I haven't talked about them very much, yes, there are assault rifles in the game, and yes, they're all very fun to use and really strong, alright? Another thing about the game that I need to point out is the music. It fits the mood very well with a lot of 80s synthesizers, blazing guitar solos, and hair metal to keep you up for your whole play session. The main menu theme gives you that feeling that you're about to get into some deep waters in this hellhole, but it's gonna be epic because your name is literally Anaconda. It never feels like it's overstaying its welcome, and it's definitely not low quality music. If you're into this type of pump up 80s music, I suggest grabbing the digital soundtrack because these guys probably need that cash. Lastly, this game's boss battles are, for the most part, a hit on all accounts. There are some annoying mechanics in some boss phases, like Johnny Rooster's travel trajectory on his jumps and the hitbox on his melee attack, but overall, bosses are pretty unique and different from one another. Just how different they tried to make each boss fight is an achievement in itself that's worth applauding in this day and age. Good work, devs. You had me raging the past 30 minutes on that stupid snake bitch. And I want to tip my hat again to the fantastic voice acting across all of the bosses too. Especially the Macho Man impression that comes through for the 3rd boss of the Hoodlum Dolls. You done brought a man back to his youthful self, who always dreamed of settling some arbitrary beef with a legend like Randy Savage. Well, this certainly felt like a mouthful in a very compact amount of time. If you want to grab this game, it goes on sale for $8 during most Steam sales, and the soundtrack is worthy of your money if you're into this style of 80s metal and synthwave. I played through this game on hard, where you only get 3 bars of health, and lower difficulties will provide you with more health to balance out the difficulty presented in Huntdown's design. It's also worth mentioning that you can blast through the entire game with a co-op partner, like a classic Contra game, and you can even connect online. Though not tested on my end, I had the rare occurrence of having a friend who wanted to play through the whole game in person. Huntdown comes with a story mode, which is blasting through the 20 levels in the game at your own pace, or a more classic style experience in arcade mode. This mode has no saving, one shot to get through everything, and if you die, you're game over. You're back to the start. It sets itself apart from story mode by providing score multipliers for doing things like getting multiple kills in succession, performing different actions on enemies, and collecting stashes. And with all that said, this game gets my recommendation as a great sprint for co-op gaming, as well as a challenging but fun single-player experience. Don't sleep on it.